So welcome to my presentation, Terminology Management with DITA. So this is a lightning talk, so I have to speak very quickly. But the presentation is way too big for 10 minutes, so please don't ask questions. Please ask please ask questions after the presentation, or even better, come to the big presentation on Tuesday at the DITA Euro conference, if you will attend. Okay, so I quickly introduce myself. So my name is Stefan. I work as a technical writer at a software company called DITA-OT, and I'm working as a DITA developer at a small team called DocTales. DocTales, what's that? So we are a small open source DITA team, so we release a few DITA plugins. So the first one is the plugin I'm talking about. It's called org.doctales.terminology. The second one, Reveal, is a plugin I use to generate those slides from DITA files. And the third one converts Java property files to DITA, and I don't talk about this one, but maybe on Tuesday. And if you like what we are doing, you might join us, code, test, write, translate, design, whatever you can do, want to do, whatever. Or share ideas, create visions, give feedback. So 2 minutes, so 8 minutes left. So before we get into that, we need to do a little bit of theory. So this is very basic terminology theory. This is something we have to understand. It's called the Semiotic Triangle. So a semiotic triangle represents a term. So for example, in the bottom left corner, there's the word symbol, and a symbol is something which is referring to something. So it can be a word. For example, the word car. That word refers to a referent, which is the physical or non-physical object, so the car itself. And the third one is the thought. So what you want to do is, when you talk to someone and you use the word car to talk about cars, the person who you are talking to should have a car in mind. So what you actually want to do with terminology management, you want to have one symbol per language for the same thought and referent. Because you want that the person you are talking to has the same in mind as you do. Okay, enough. Terminology, what's that? Okay, 7 minutes left. So why are we using terminology? We want to enhance the understandability of your documents, and we want to avoid synonyms. This is very important, and this is even more important in a DITA environment, because you have modules, you have hundreds or thousands of topics, and every topic needs to be able to fit together with other topics. So you want to speak with one voice, you want to lower your translation costs, you want to prevent communication conflicts, and you want to explain translators the meaning of your product, subject, vocabulary, and terms. Yes. So, and where do we need terminology? Wherever there's text. This is a small answer. So, for example, you have a developer. He writes a string on a software, and you want the same string in your manual, and you want to use the same terms in the marketing material, which is talking about the software, for example. Okay, 6 minutes left. So, what's that plugin? It's a plugin for the DITA Open Toolkit. It contains new DITA topic types for terms, a new DITA map type, an Oxygen framework for authoring, to make it easier for the writers to author terminology. And it contains a few transformation scenarios. So you can build your terminology database with Oxygen in DITA. And you can transform that to something else. So why introducing a new term entry topic? There is a topic type which is quite similar. It's the gloss entry topic. And a term entry topic represents a term. It's a central unit of information. But I thought about using a gloss entry topic for what we want to do with the terminology. But in that way, you have a few conflicts. So the gloss entry topic is more built for glossaries and not for terminology databases, I think. So it's not meant to be multilingual. There are no elements for terminology metadata that you might need, and there are attribute standards are missing. For example, the gloss status value has not a defined attribute, which is very important for what we want to do with that. So, for example, here in the structure, you have no metadata to explain who has agreed to the term, for example. This is very important. So this is the term entry topic. With this topic type, we have multiple languages in one topic. It's compatible to the DITA-OT processing. We have, of course, total control of element names and structures, and it's easier to create XL transformations because we, as the development team, can control how the topic behaves and which elements are allowed where, and we don't want to have all the data flexibility here. And yes, and because of that, we can create a nice Oxygen framework for that. And so to clarify that, a term entry topic is not meant to be used in a normal DITA project. So the idea behind this is to use DITA and the term entry topics to build a terminology database which does not interfere with your other DITA topics. This is not meant to be reused. I explain you why. So now I want to show you the Oxygen author framework. So why do we need a framework for that? Because we want to make it easier. We want to make it fun, writing and managing terminology, because this is something that nobody wants to do, but everybody wants to have that. And this is how it looks like. So this is actually a screenshot from Oxygen. So we have a nice framework that is very easy to use, and you can add new terms very easily. And this is the important picture here. To create a deprecated term, so a deprecated synonym, a symbol, we create an element called, for example, full form. Here we have the term that we don't want to use, engine, and the term engine has the language British English. And instead of that, we want to say in British English, motor. So it's very easy to add a deprecated term. So and what we can do with that is we can take this DITA topics and we generate schematron from that. So so actually we check the language of the topic, and if that topic contains a term and which is deprecated, and if that's the case, we give a message to the user with a definition and a string replace fragment. So what it looks like, it's like that. So when you use Oxygen, you type a word, and when just this word is deprecated, you get a schematron rule. Here you have the definition and the replace operation, and then the term is replaced. So it's very easy to use. So a quick demo, 30 seconds left. So this is the same topic in Oxygen. The special thing here is that you can control everything by clicking on the titles of the elements. So for example, to add a new deprecated term, I click on full form, and click on Add Full Form, select the usage and the language, and add the deprecated term, and that's it. Very simple. If you install the plugin, there's a big sample section, which is here opened on the left side. And you can convert these samples to a term checker for DITA. You can convert that to a term checker, so a schematron file for XLIF. This is very interesting if you convert your DITA content to XLIF, which is a good format to round-trip DITA for translations. So you can check your content before you send it to the translator, or you can check if the translator has used the right terminology, which is very interesting. You can export your terminology database to TBX Basic or TBX Min, which is a smaller version of the TBX standard. And you can use the built-in Oxygen web help to generate a term browser. So it looks like that. So yes. So if someone wants to browse through the terminology database, for example, a developer or something from the marketing department who does not use Oxygen or DITA, he can simply open the term browser and check, car, is it deprecated? And oh, it's an allowed term in British English. And in German, I'm not allowed to say automobile. I should use the short form auto. The plugin is very easy to be installed, so you need DITA-OT 2.3 at least, or Oxygen in the version 18, and you just have to install the plugin using the DITA install command, and you need to integrate the Oxygen XML framework, and that's it. And there's some documentation on our website, so I think you can find the website by Google. And yes, maybe a few words about why we need DITA 2.3. We have specialized the related links section. So what we actually can do, we can add, we can create relations between terms. So we can say this is a hyponym or a related term or whatever. So we can create a semantic web using DITA. It's very easy here. I can say, oh, I want to add an antonym term. I just enter the name of the term here, and I'm done. So by that, I created a semantical relationship. What I'm going to implement until January is to create a visual net of the terms you have modeled. And if you have any ideas what you might want to have in that plugin, just tell me. Okay, so 30 minutes, sorry. And yes, if you want to contact me, so we are an open source development team, so we cannot sell you the plugin, it's free, just use it. But if you need some kind of training or whatever, just contact me, and then we are going to help you. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.